이성 해설님도 사실 오늘 매치 굉장히 많이 기다리지 않으셨습니까?
그렇습니다. 허영무 선수가 그렇게 무력하게 이제 패배하는 모습을 보면서 다음번에 만약에 다시 만난다면은 아주 좋은 경기로 또 복수하려고 할 거다라는 이런 기대감 때문에 저도 이제 기대감을 많이 갖고 있었는데 과연 어떻게 복수를 하게 될지 경기 내에서 확인할 수 있겠습니다.
자, 맞습니다. 허영무 선수가 준비가 끝나는 대로 경기에 가도록 하고요. 자, 허영무 선수가 몰래 준비가 됐다고 합니다. 믿습니다. 16강 픽스살의 16강 D조의 경기인데요. 허영무 선수와 이몽규 선수의 첫 게임입니다. 경기 바로 가보도록 하죠.
Whoa shit, whoa shit, whoa shit! Alright, everybody, we're starting. We're starting. I totally thought this interview would be longer than it was. Shit. Alright, who's playing? We have Larva and Jangbi. Alright, good. Good, that's excellent. Okay, so we've got the players covered. Who else is playing in this group? Alright, second is Piano and Mini. Okay, you know, you can tell I have prepared extensively for today's cast to provide you guys with the best experience possible. Anyway, alright, looks like we got Jangbi on the right, Larva on the left. Fantastic. Okay, sweet.
경기는 끝나봐야 뭐 알 것 같은데 일단은 자리는 예전하고 똑같은 자리가 보인 것 같아요. 위치는. 예, 그런데 이제 심시티 자체가 좀 불안했기 때문에 사실 허영무 선수
So we have 4 Jurassic Span. Excellent. We're on Mist. Also good. We are in Group D of the SSL9 round of 16. That's what we're doing. Also, apparently, my Twitch chat is not really working. I don't know if this is the case for anybody else. My Twitch chat is in the little loading thing. Oh, well, that didn't go as planned, but it's got the little loading thing. It's not working, so I don't know what's going on there. So if it is broken for you, then you're not the only one. You're not the only one. So we have an overpull here from Larva. Okay, this does make me a little bit nervous though. Just as an aside, because you know, usually when things go wrong, I can just glance over at the chat and people just yell and shout and type in caps, and then I fix it. But oh, is that Zero? Oh, what a cutie. Spoiler alert, unfortunately Zero did get completely smashed in his group in the round of 16 and dropped out 0-2 despite trash talking a little bit in his round of 32 winners interview. So yeah, what do we got in the also before things get too crazy here, apparently there was no higher quality restream now. So if it looks a little bit grainy, if it looks like it's 360p, that's because it probably is. This is about as good as it's gonna get, but that's all right. We can still see things nice and clear. You can still see all the buildings and stuff. I can even actually read the letters despite the low resolution, which is nice. And looks like otherwise been going pretty normally. The gas has already been taken by the Zerg. I'd expect a drone to be going. I see on the minimap, I'm pretty sure a drone's going out right now over to the top left to take that third base. Pretty standard now to get that gas as you're sending that drone out. It's a little bit early. It's kind of gotten progressively earlier nowadays. In the past, I think you would have gotten that third hatchery at roughly the same time, but now you kind of get the gas as you're sending your drone out. That's an interesting looking wall by Jangbi, by the way. It's kind of like a diagonal wall. If that forge is tight with the bottom cliff, I guess that's pretty decent. Even though there's a bit of a gap on the top, you can block that with a couple of Zelts and a probe, presumably. So as long as he's paying attention, watching for run-bys and that sort of thing, should be okay with that. It's actually kind of interesting. I mean, I don't remember the round of 32 groups exactly, and I really don't want to check on Wikipedia because it'll spoil me for this group, I'm pretty sure, because the Wikipedia guys update pretty quickly. And this was, of course, played this morning. So I'm going to have to just go by memory, which is going to be horrible. But Jangbi, I know Jangbi got out of his group only 2-1. He didn't perform the best in his games, but managed to take out, I believe, Beast in the final match at a PVZ. So he kind of squeaked by. I mean, you know, Jangbi, obviously the last OSL champion. In his prime, he was an absolute top-class player. But he seems to be a little bit out of practice here. I'm not sure exactly what he's been up to. But I'm not even really sure that he can get out of this group, to be honest. Piano in particular is very, very strong. I definitely expect Piano to 2-0 the group. Mini is pretty good. His PvP actually seemed okay. I believe he won a PvP. Oh yeah, he knocked out Shuttle. He actually won in an all Protoss group. He made it out of an all Protoss group in the round of 32, so he's got that going for him. And Larva has been playing pretty strong overall as well. Actually, for some reason, I'm wondering if these guys were in the same round of 32 group. I'm not sure. I have this impression. I don't know why, but I really just cannot remember. Anyway, Larva is making a whole bunch of Zerglings to come down here. Now we're going to actually see the test of whether this wall is in fact good or not, and is looking slightly problematic with that probe. For some reason the Zealots pulled all the way back to the ramp, I guess just in case he was going to kill the probe and then run straight past. You know, wasted a small opportunity to do a couple extra hits, but it looks like he has held on fairly well here, and we have another cannon on the way. That Forge is going to take a little bit of damage though. With those extra Zerglings there, that Forge might actually die before the cannon finishes, which would be catastrophic for Jangbi. He's already taking a ton of damage just by having to pull all these probes. Yes, it looks like he's going to use the Zealots to save the Forge and use the probes to prevent a run by, but this is pretty horrible. He needs that cannon to finish like now. Oh my god, he might actually lose that Forge. I don't know how good his multitasking is. Oh, it looks like it doesn't matter because the Forge is actually going to finish. So Jangbi's going to be okay, but he's lost quite a significant amount of mining time there. Now, to be fair, Larva did also make a lot of Zerglings, which of course would be drones that he's not going to have. But still, I think that was still worth it for Larva. I think that was completely fine. In the meantime, we have a Corsair just going to check out what's going on. Going to see nothing out of the ordinary, really. I'd imagine a couple of Scourge are going to come out before that guy can even kill an Overlord. But I don't know. He might get one. A little bit close. No, he's not going to get one. Good timing by Larva there. Just going to chase that guy away. Notice that Larva's not even bothering to just chase the Corsair. He's going straight over just to go have a scout with those Scourge. Because the Scourge, you know, not only do they serve the purpose of warding away Corsairs here in the early mid-game, but they're also a very, very crucial scout into the Protoss' main, which the Zerg would otherwise not have. You can't really get Overlords in at this point with the Corsairs out. So you want the Scourge to do that for you. I mean, even if you had an Overlord in there earlier, it'll usually have been chased away, and then Protoss can often hide little things later on. I mean, we do have a second gateway here at the natural. I didn't actually notice whether the core was spinning or not, so we could see whether Jangbi's going to do that that +1 Sayer, +1 speed lot style, very mobile, very aggressive mid game. But that's a very cool thing to watch, and I think it'd be pretty effective on this map. There's pretty good distance between the bases. By ground at least, and with the short air distances, I think that'll make the Corsairs perhaps slightly more dangerous. In the meantime, we do see +1 ground weapons for the Zealots. Still not 100% sure about that air weapons. And looks like the core is actually not spinning, but he is making Corsairs, so it looks like he's just gonna go mass Corsairs without the +1, which is... Oh, no, I'm sorry. The +1's actually already finished. Excuse me. He has... I was going to say that's a little bit strange. We do see that occasionally players go Corsairs with no +1, although I feel like that's more of a foreigner thing, probably because it's not that good. but yeah, if you're going mass Corsairs, I feel like +1 upgrade. It's really not that expensive. 100, and gives you a massive damage increase on the Corsairs, so I think that's should be pretty standard. Anyway, this could be a nice trap here on the Corsairs. Two Corsairs fall. It's pretty good. You know, you don't have to kill that many Corsairs. You just have to whittle down the count. Keep them below, you know, 5 or 6 Corsairs when they can really start just A moving into Scourge. If you keep them below that number, then they basically just can't do anything. They just have to do what they're doing now, which is run back into the main and just chill and wait. In the meantime, 1DT going to poke at the front, not going to happen. We do see Larva being very prepared here, putting a Spore at his natural and the third base just to make sure any kind of DT sneaks cannot happen. And in the meantime, we do have the Zealots moving out. They don't have any upgrades yet, but I'd imagine speed and +1 will finish by the time they hit the Zerg's base. That's usually how the Protoss times it. He moves out just as they're finishing up. So you can see speed is just now finished, and imagine +1 is getting very, very close. I like that spawning pylon that we just saw there at the back of the bottom right mineral line there. Zergs on this map can can trick lurkers across those minerals and start putting lurkers behind your natural mineral line, which is obviously very, very annoying for the Protoss, especially at this stage of the game where, as you can see, his primary, his only unit composition is essentially speed lots. He's got a couple of high Templars here at the back, and looks like a nice little backstab of Zerglings here. If he gets that second cannon, he might just run in here and grab one or two of these high Templar. It looks like maybe not quite getting one of them. Would have been really, really fortuitous for him to get that. Ooh, I think he got that the third cannon as well. I doubt Jangbi would have been reacting fast enough to actually cancel that, assuming that his Elves would be able to save it. And again, the Zerglings going in here. And this is really, really worth it for Larva. I mean, these Zerglings are fairly cheap. And it must be really, really annoying for Jangbi. However, that is a pretty big ball of Corsairs. That's something like 8 Corsairs right there, which is really going to put the hurt on Overlords. It's going to be able to A-move through large groups of Scourge fairly easily. We're just going to have to see how good Larva's defensive Overlords here. He's going to have to position some nice Hydras defensively just to protect those Overlords. Doesn't look like he has that many Hydras here, but it looks like it's going to be enough to ward away these Corsairs. Crucially, there's no shuttle or anything that's accompanying the Corsairs for, you know, a DT drop or something, because a DT drop in the main right now, a very common move in your opening Corsairs, can be oh so deadly. And Larva isn't showing that he's particularly prepared for anything like that. But on the other hand, he is putting so much pressure on the front of Jangbi's base that he can probably, he would probably kind of sort of sense where Jangbi's at in terms of that sort of thing, and whether he's been able to spare the gas to make DTs for a drop, and, you know, by keep poking in, he can see if there's a shuttle coming out. So just by being aggressive, he's actually getting a lot of information from Jangbi. So I really like this way that Larva's playing. But here's the drop that I mentioned, and look at this, gonna get spotted, and oh man, a whole bunch of Scourge coming in, and the Corsairs on the wrong side, and the shuttle goes down. That is a huge, huge snipe for Larva there. I can't believe he got that. Wow, that was just absolutely fantastic. He knew it was coming, he knew the timing. You see, right, literally, you know, 20 seconds after I said it, not even, the shuttle comes in, and of course Larva's timing, I'm sure, is much better than mine. He knew exactly when that was coming. He had the Zergling position, he had the Scourge just ready and waiting on the side, and went in right between the Scourge and the shuttle. The whole point of those Corsairs, in addition to clearing the main of Overlord so the DTs can do damage, is to make sure the shuttle doesn't die. And they just completely failed their job right now, and they're not even killing Overlords. Jangbi's made like, you know, 9 or 10 Corsairs this game, and has done virtually no damage with them. You know, he's killed like maybe a couple of Overlords and some Scourge, and oh man, look at this, the Zerglings even forcing a couple of Templars to kill themselves. That might have just been one, but even then, that's worth it for that little group of Zerglings. Larva just on top of his control right now. I mean, he's just basically outclassing Jangbi here. And I know Larva does practice very hard for these SSL events. He did make it, I believe, to the finals of one of them, where he got smashed by Killer, but still he made it to the finals. He seems to be good friends with Sonic, and does like these events. And I think in his interview he did say he was practicing pretty hard, so it definitely shows. It definitely shows. Anyway, Larva now getting a 4th base. He's got some lurkers out, I believe. Yeah, he's got some lurkers out. Which is going to make it a little bit difficult for Jangbi, but Jangbi has also been teching up. He's got some goons as well now with his army. But I'm not sure if he's quite strong enough to break any position. He actually is back up to 4 High Templars and a decent number of goons. And it looks like, oh, the lurker field is not quite in position yet. So Jangbi could have found a good position. But look at this, a DT drop now goes into the main. A second attempt at the DT drop. It looks like Larva, though, is on top of it. By the time the DT got in there, almost all the drones had already evacuated the main base. So Larva, I don't know how he saw that, but was well prepared for this. And he's gonna deal with it fairly quickly, although he looks like he's sacking a lot of Overlords just to get vision of this. I'm not sure why he doesn't bring a few more Hydras back. I guess most of the Hydras are out on the field protecting that 4th base. So now the Corsairs actually have done a little bit of damage, although, oh my god, Jangbi, what is he doing? He's losing all his Corsairs here at the front. He's not paying attention. He's only paying attention to his ground army. Only a single Corsair left. That drop, again, did very little damage and cost him basically his entire Air Force there, in addition to the DT that was dropped in. Anyway, Jangbi clearly focusing more on his ground army, I guess, and is going in right now. Notice that Jangbi has no 3rd base attempt, and there are a few Lings, it looks like, at his would-be 3rd base, so I guess he's pretty much just going to go all in on 2 base right now, but his army is pretty pathetic looking. I just don't see how he's going to win this game. I'm sure the Zerg has higher supply than him. And look at this, the army control isn't even that good. The High Templar walking in front, the Observer walking in front. Jangbi just very clearly out of shape in this game, unfortunately, for Jangbi fans. Larva, though, I gotta say, is looking in a lot better shape than I thought. I originally expected Piano to get out #1 in this group and perhaps Mini #2. But I think Larva, if he plays like this against Mini, can probably take the 2nd slot, which would be pretty impressive if he makes it to the round of 8, given that the Saucepacine's actually come a long way since he made the finals of 1 a while ago. A lot of ex-pros now playing. Anyway, not quite sniping that High Templar. And I do see a red dot at the bottom right. Actually, that's probably still the pylon that's on the other side of the mineral, so I still don't think Jangbi's thinking about taking that 3rd. I mean, it's a little bit difficult for him because his whole army is moving towards the top right to attack the Zerg's 4th, which means that, you know, it's so easy for Larva just in a few Zerglings to deny that 3rd base, and really annoying for him to deal with, for Jangbi to deal with. Anyway, looks like we're gonna have an attack. Is Larva gonna force the issue? No, just gonna run here a little bit, bait out some storms. The Protoss is a little bit too strong for Larva to actually just run in and just kill him. Looks like another little drop here in the main with 4 Zealots. That's pretty good. And looks like at the same time, moving in here, grabbing a few Lurker kills at the front. So Jangbi making a little bit of headway, but there go the Zealots getting cleaned up in the main base. And I think Jangbi's probably running short of storms right now. And this is the problem. He's used so many storms. Now he's just going to morph some Archons. One more storm falling on the Lurkers, but there's the double Archon morph. No, he's trying to morph Archon, but the High Templar refused, finally becoming an Archon, but almost all the Protoss forces have died, and now just a handful of Zerglings will be able to clean this up. Yeah, very sad times for Jangbi. I mean, you can see he's got no 3rd base. The Zerg's got his 4th completely safely, and has now cleaned up the Protoss army. So this is basically the end now for Jangbi. He's got pretty much no way to win. Interestingly, Jangbi, I guess, instead of taking the bottom right, could have pushed up a little more and taken this space above his main. But GG from Jangbi. And Larva will take game #1 very comfortably against the champ. Now this is a best of 3, so Jangbi still has another shot here, but I mean he's gonna have to pull out something a little bit different, a little bit better than last game if he wants to take the 2nd game. It looks like Larva's actually left the booth. He's gonna take a break or something. But when he gets back, we will be playing on Circuit Breaker. And yeah, I guess we'll see what Jangbi does. So I'm gonna just skip ahead here.